guys, it's Amanda with Healthy House on the block, and I'm here with our weekly video and tip on creating a space in your home that truly supports your health and your wellness. And this week we're going to talk about the healthy way to use humidifiers. So I live in the Midwest. I know that winters get dry and brutal. Your skin needs some moisture, your nose needs some moisture, the air inside needs just a little bit of something extra. And humidifiers can be a really great tool for staying healthy. However, you need to know the right way to use these tools. There can be some really big repercussions when we use humidifiers improperly, or we use them too much, or they don't get cleaned. We can have issues with mold and mildew. The humidity levels in our home can rise actually to a level that is unhealthy for us and our space. And so I'm going to share with you today the right way, the healthy way to use humidifiers in your home. I'm also going to share with you my top pick for the number one humidifier that will help you reduce any sort of mold or mildew growth in your home while you're using it. It's super easy to clean, and I'm also going to share with you my secondary picks for healthier options that are in different budget ranges that can help reduce that need to clean the humidifier all the time. So let's dive in and talk all things humidifiers. So the topic of humidifiers honestly can be albeit confusing. Not to mention how to clean a humidifier and why even use a humidifier in the first place, which are both questions I get when we start talking about a healthy home. So some of us have been told that a humidifier will help prevent getting sick during the winter and keep our littles' noses from getting plugged if they're congested. And then some of us have been told to avoid humidifiers as they can cause mold and an unhealthy living environment. Both of these thought processes make sense. And so what it really boils down to is you have to know how to use a humidifier in the right way. So the goal is to get to that sweet spot of the perfect levels of humidity in your home. So in the winter, when it's dry and you need some extra moisture in the air, a humidifier can be that helping tool. And if someone isn't feeling the best at home, maybe you do need to increase the humidity levels slightly for a few nights. And as with all things related to a healthy home, so much depends on your health and your climate. And we can't all follow the exact same habits and expect to get the same results. So we're going to dive in. We're going to talk about the relative humidity within your home. This is the most important thing to understand before we get into the meat of why we should even use a humidifier in the first place. So humidity at home is measured in what's called relative humidity. Relative humidity is the amount of moisture or water vapor that is actually present in the air compared to how much the air could hold at that temperature. So if your indoor relative humidity is 50%, this means that the air is holding exactly half of the water vapor it could at that temperature. So relative humidity levels should fall between 35 and 40% in a healthy home. This range is ideal for both the health of your home and the health of your body. When you have low relative humidity, you start to notice it right away in your nasal passages, with your skin, with your hair. But when relative humidity is too low, it also impacts the health of our indoor spaces. So it will cause increased static electricity, hardwood separation and warping, shrinking wood door and window frames. You could have aggravated asthma and allergy symptoms, and you could have an increased susceptibility to cold and respiratory illnesses. So while I often warn against having a home that is way too high in humidity levels, letting those humidity levels dip below 35% is also going to cause issues with your home and with your body. So on the other side, most commonly, our homes are humid environments due to honestly our habits and very simple things like just living. Our bodies actually produce humidity as we breathe and as we sweat, but we also add humidity levels through our bathing, our cooking, our cleaning practices, our indoor plants. And so high humidity at home can lead to an increased mold and mildew growth, increased off-gassing of VOCs, which then leads to higher indoor air pollution. You can have window condensation, warped wooden floors, again, aggravated asthma and allergy symptoms, and you can also have this general unwell feeling or fatigue. So one of my favorite tools for monitoring this is a very simple tool. It's a hygrometer. It measures the humidity levels in your home. Assessing your home is an absolute must if you're going to try to improve the health of your space. This device that I have shown is like $10 off Amazon. It's well worth it. You can move it to any room that you want. But assessing your home, again, is the first step to be able to make your home an environment that's healthier. So why even use a humidifier at all if we really want to keep humidity levels low? There's a number of positive benefits when it comes to raising the relative humidity in your space just slightly. So the first reason to improve your home is it improves your indoor climate. It can make your space feel more comfortable and help your skin and your nasal passages. And on the opposite end, when your nasal passages are dry or cracked, they're actually making your body more susceptible to viruses. One of the biggest reasons why we use a humidifier is due to the improved overall sleep that we all get, because when it's stuffy or dry and you're not able to breathe, you're not able to sleep as well. And we know that sleep is critical when we're talking about a healthy body. But the absolute biggest reason why a lot of people use humidifiers is due to preventing contracting a respiratory illness, such as a cold or a flu, especially in children. There was a study done that showed the airborne survival of influenza, the virus, was drastically shortened and decreased with increased humidity levels. So it's important not to let our air get too dry. But the big thing that we need to know is how to clean the humidifier the right way and the healthy way. So knowing just how to clean in the right way could be the number one thing to save you when using a humidifier at home. When we're talking about how to clean a humidifier, it's important to know that there are definitely unsafe and wrong ways to do it. So you have to be careful about what you use to clean your humidifier with. Remember that anything you use to clean it will likely end up being vaporized in the air, allowing the product then into your airways and your body. There have been humidifiers that have expelled disinfectants, negatively impacting children who are in the room, which is just one example of why we need to be extremely careful. And I have a case study linked in the blog post for you guys this week talking more about that. But even more of an issue when it comes to learning how to clean your humidifier is properly removing mold and mildew that very quickly can take place and make a home in the basin and the tank. Any mold or mildew growth within the humidifier itself will quickly be turned into a microbial aerosol. And again, you're allowing it to be inhaled by your body. And these are basically just particles of bacteria. One way you can really do yourself a favor is by simply using distilled water. And we're going to talk about that more. Distilled water is different from your tap water. Our tap water contains minerals, which can then be expelled into the air. And this is especially true if you're using like an ultrasonic vaporizer. There was a study done out of the University of Alberta that suggests at the very least just emptying out your humidifier completely before using it again is something that will really help minimize this problem. So while you're allowing your humidifier to completely dry out between uses, this is the best way. There are also other tools and habits that you can use to clean your humidifier and keep it free from mold and mildew, the first idea is to use a silver infused stick. And I have this linked in the blog post this week. Basically, it prevents bacteria growth in the tank of the humidifier and you just add it to the water. Another idea is to use a cleaning solution with 1 part vinegar and 1 part water and allow it to sit for an hour before rinsing it out. And then the last way is to clean it using hydrogen peroxide. This is a natural bacteria killer and a great option. It's healthy to our bodies. You can even add things like essential oils if you wanted to, but again, be very careful with those while you're using it in your home and around children. So, how do you use your humidifier in a healthy way to prevent any sort of negative issues? First thing you need to do is get a hygrometer. This is one of the most important things you can do when we're talking about a healthy house, and that's to monitor the humidity levels, not only in your whole home, but specifically in the room that you are going to be using the humidifier in. A simple hygrometer can be under $10 and is well worth knowing what the room's humidity levels are. Anything over 55% is an area of concern when it comes to preventing mold and mildew from growing. The second thing you can do is use the lowest settings. Now, you don't have to keep your humidifier on at full blast. In fact, it's best to use the lower settings for a longer period of time rather than adding tons of moisture to your air for a brief period of time. Often we over-exaggerate just how much extra moisture we think our air could benefit from. And so really just increasing the relative humidity 5% is quite a bit in a healthy home. The third thing you can do is fill it with distilled water. Water that contains any sort of minerals can quickly grow bacteria and increase the amount of mold or mildew that begins growing inside the humidifier. By using distilled water, you can ensure that the inside of your humidifier will stay clean in between uses. Even using filtered water can help a little bit in reducing mold and mildew from taking hold, or at least slowing the process. Another thing you can do is control when it's running. So don't just let the humidifier run all day long. Use the humidifier only when needed, which is often at night. And then in between uses, make sure that the humidifier is emptied and has time to dry out completely. This will allow the room, the textiles, and the walls to dry out from any excess moisture as well. Anything that dries out within 48 hours of getting damp is less likely to grow mold in the future. And then the last thing is keep away from walls. Walls are very porous surfaces and can quickly become a breeding ground for mold when they're constantly damp or wet. Keep the humidifier up off the floor if possible to prevent carpets from getting too wet, and then keep the humidifier away from any walls or wood furniture if at all possible. The closer the humidifier is to a wall, the lower the setting should be. So, of course, I'm going to share with you my top picks for the best humidifiers. And number one, best product that you can buy is the CarePod humidifier. So it's super quiet. There's no gurgling, buttons beeping, or noisy fans with this one. It has a stainless steel core, and to clean it, you can simply just boil water in it and insert the piece at the top to also clean it. There's no plastic, so we don't have to worry about potential mold growth because stainless steel is a natural inhibitor. It prevents mold from growing. This one also has an oscillator, which I love. So that means that it kind of spreads out the moisture instead of just drenching one spot as it runs. It's a small but powerful humidifier. It's perfect for, a nightstand or someplace where you don't have a lot of room, but it's actually big enough that it will run all night long. And the other nice thing is it doesn't have any additional filters, so you don't have to replace anything. You just have to clean that stainless steel core interior part and you're good to go. So the next one is my best for running a lot. So if you're going to run your humidifier, for long periods of time and for a long duration, this is the one for you. It's Jack and Rose. You can get it off of Amazon. It has a pretty medium-sized tank that will last for several hours. It can run 12 hours with this gallon tank. This one also has the stainless steel interior part that is dishwasher safe, so it's easy to clean. You can either choose to boil water in it or you can throw it in the dishwasher. Again, the stainless steel naturally prevents any sort of bacteria growth. This one is a warm mist, and so it's good for illnesses. It can help alleviate coughs and congestion with that warm mist. It's not, I don't like it as much as the Care Pod, but it's definitely more budget friendly. And then my budget find. This is like the best budget find that you can grab. This is the Crane Cool Mist Humidifier. It's a top fill, and so it doesn't have a piece that comes out to fill it up. You bring in your distilled water and fill it up that way, which actually prevents mold growth because we don't have all these tiny little parts. The parts that do come out can be put in the dishwasher. This has a huge tank. It can actually double as a diffuser if you would like with essential oils. It has discrete buttons, so they aren't super bright if you'd like it in a dark room. To close, I just want to remind you, don't let the winter go by without using a humidifier. You just have to know how to use it the right way, the healthy way to enhance your health and support your wellness. I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you can take at least one thing from this video and apply it to your own healthy home. I also hope that you will subscribe to my channel because I'm here every single week with new ideas, new tips, new advice on creating a healthy home that really supports your health and your wellness.